No, there's no inspiration. Inspiration is a lot of hokum. I mean, this work is labor. It's mostly labor. And if there is an inspiration, it's so little that you don't know it. You forget it. No, those are romanticisms.
The man is Enrique Alvarez, a colorful, controversial sculptor whose career in New Orleans has spanned over 60 years. Within that period, he created dozens of pieces for public display in the Crescent City. Born May 1901 in Zacatecas, Mexico, young Enrique Alvarez initiated his artistic efforts under his father, who studied in Europe and sculpted religious figures in Mexico. As an adolescent, the junior Alférez labored as one of Pancho Villa's military men.
I joined the revolution when I was in 1913. I was 12 years old. I ran away from home, and the town was besieged by the rebels. That's the original revolution of 1910.
The Mexicans shanghaied Alférez into their ranks. After a decade of service, he entered the United States at El Paso, Texas. From there, Alférez headed north to Chicago, where he formally pursued his artistic interest before coming to New Orleans.
The Art Institute in Chicago, and I've been there since 1924, and it was 1929 when I came here, in May of 1929. And I was on my way to Yucatan. I stayed here, and I ran out of money, so I had to get a job.
And Alférez did find employment, but he hadn't originally planned to sculpt in New Orleans.
I didn't come to work. I came on my way to Yucatan. I was going to go to Yucatan. But then I got a job. The first job I did in New Orleans was for an architect by the name of Alec Norman, a very nice guy. And he was doing a church across the river, the Holy Name of Mary Church. And so he gave me the job. There are 4 figures, one Madonna, and there is in the center of it's a little Gothic building. The figure is 7 feet high. It's a big piece of limestone. And then a St. Joseph and St. John and a little St. Peter over the door. And then I did another thing inside in oak, a statue of the Sacred Heart. And it was the first job I did in New Orleans. And I came back from Yucatan to finish that job because I had done all the figures from September to December, except the St. Peter, which was a little one. It was about 2 feet. So I came back to do that. I went to Yucatan in January and stayed there until, I think, June with the expedition. And we did the molds of every stone in the quadrangle of the nunnery in Uxmal for the Chicago Fair. And we brought them back, and then I reproduced them, reconstructed them, and reproduced them for the fair in 1933.
But Alférez wasn't satisfied with the way the exhibition incorporated his work. The proportions of the display areas had changed.
I spent the night of the opening of the fair, I spent it with Carl Sandburg in his place in Herbert, Michigan. He had a place at the bottom of the lake, in the south end of the lake, and we stayed there and got drunk.
That was 1933. But years earlier, the expedition to Uxmal had brought Alférez back through the Crescent City, where he finished the Holy Name of Mary Church commission.
I got stuck here. There was not much, no way to get out of here. When in my profession, you have to have so much junk with you that you can't just put everything in a suitcase and walk away, you know. You go some places, you got to gather all this junk again, or similar to be able to work.
And despite the Depression, the 1930s brought Alférez many jobs, public and private. At that time, the artist created the first of his many sculptures that fill New Orleans City Park.
I did the rose garden, the figure in the stone, the big figure, and the two reliefs on the sides. And the little fountains. And the two little, the satyr and the nymph that are on two pilasters. The nymph is calling some to the satyr, and the satyr is sticking his tongue out, going like this to her.
Most of these sculptures were commissioned by Franklin Roosevelt's WPA in the 1930s. Yet the Alférez sundial, created in 1983, was a private commission and a gift to the Botanical Garden. It's surrounded by several benches, each of which has a different animal at its base. A fox, a frog, a cricket. Nearby is the Alférez oak, one of only two in the park named for living persons. In the early 1980s, the Friends of City Park commissioned Alférez to design this gate, which neatly encloses the garden. Its botanical look majestically complements the lush public area. Across the street from the garden is Tad Gormley Stadium, known for its athletic events through the years. The facility includes more Alférez efforts from the WPA era. On Tad Gormley's fence, there's a pole vaulter, a tennis player, and a football player. Other sports represented: basketball, baseball, and boxing.
And the bridges, a number of bridges. I think there's altogether about 5.
Along the City Park South Golf Course are 2 Alférez bridges. One features 2 different bas-relief female figures. They recline on opposite sides of that bridge. And there are various celebrations of manual labor. Located in the lagoon that flows beneath is a water nymph the sculptor created. On Palm Drive, another bridge displays Alférez's handiwork. Harrison Avenue features a 3rd bridge. The 4th remaining bridge is on Diagonal Drive near Pop Fountain. It caused a bit of a stir.
I got in trouble because I put some Negroes in them as decoration.
There were many complaints.
A German had been in the First World War, and he was called himself the chairman of the Society for the Aryan Society for the Preservation of White Supremacy.